Good evening. We are going to start our session now. So good evening, parents, caregivers, guardians, students, and staff. Thank you for attending the Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition Information Session. This evening, we have centrally assigned principals, coordinators, and lead teachers here to support this session and to help you with the process. We will begin by discussing general information for all subject areas and then break out to subject-specific areas for information that will be more specific. My name is Lisa Edwards. I'm a centrally assigned principal with guidance under my portfolio. And today, Snez Buchanan, the coordinator for guidance, career development, and student well-being, will be going through the slides. We will start with the land acknowledgement. Snez, if you could move it to the next slide, please.
All right.
We acknowledge we are hosted on the lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. We also recognize the enduring presence of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Thank you. Snez?
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. So let's begin here with what is PLAR? So PLAR is the acronym for Prior Learning, Assessment, and Recognition. There are two components of this process, the challenge and equivalency. The challenge process involves the assessment of prior learning for the granting of credits in grades 10, 11, and 12 courses from the Ontario Curriculum Policy document. The equivalency process involves assessing credentials from outside of Ontario, internationally, and from students who have participated in homeschooling. PLAR is a process that recognizes that students have already gained the skills and expectations as outlined in the curriculum document for a specific course in a formal or informal setting outside of the traditional classroom. It assesses and evaluates this prior learning to determine whether the student has met the Ontario provincial curriculum expectations for the specific course they are challenging. PLAR acknowledges that there is no need to do the learning in the classroom and confirms that students are ready to move straight to the evaluation for credit. So I will be sharing more information about this throughout the presentation. Sorry, I have lost my screen. And oh, here we go. Oops. Okay. To be eligible, students must be currently enrolled and attending a TDSB secondary school or a continuing education program such as night school or summer school. Students must have completed the prerequisite course or be in the progress of completing the prerequisite course prior to the beginning of the PLAR process. For example, if a student wants to challenge and receive a grade 11 biology credit, the student must have completed or be in the process of completing the grade 10 science credit. Students are not eligible to challenge the course if they've attempted either successfully or unsuccessfully a course for courses that have similar expectations that overlap and cannot be attempted. So for example, if there is a healthy active living physical education course and a healthy living and personal fitness activities physical education course, which outside of the specific activities have the same expectations for each grade level, so a student who took one of these courses cannot challenge for the other. There are some courses that are excluded from the PLAR process, and these include transfer and locally developed courses, cooperative education courses, multi-credit technology courses, international baccalaureate courses, English as a second language, and English literacy development courses, interdisciplinary courses, and French as a second language if the student has earned 1 or more credits in Francais. French is a first language. Please note that extended and immersion French students who challenge for core French will be removed if the extended or immersion program. It is also important to know that if you would like to graduate in your extended or immersion certificate, that you cannot challenge for a core French credit. And I'm sorry, I just need to plug in my battery. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Students are eligible to challenge a maximum of 4 credits through the PLAR challenge process and a maximum of 2 credits in any one discipline. Full disclosure is something that's familiar to many secondary school students. It's also known as the marks maintain after date. And for each semester, it's very important to keep this date in mind as it is the last day to drop a course without the mark appearing on your transcript permanently. This year, the full disclosure date is May 3rd, 2025, which means it is the last day for a student to withdraw from the challenge without the mark appearing on their transcript. So what does the PLAR process look like from the student's perspective? The first step is to assess the application online on the TDSB's PLAR website. The next step is to work with your guidance counselor when you're completing the package to receive feedback about its completeness and guidance about where you may provide more information if necessary. Step 3 is to submit the application and the required documentation to your guidance office by 4 p.m. on February 27th, 2025. You will hear from the PLAR office if your application has been successful to move to the evaluation stage or not. If your application was successful, you will move on to the 4th step, which is to confirm your commitment to continue to the assessment process by April 2nd, 2025. The school will inform students and parents of the policies and the procedures. They will review your application prior to submission and confirm whether the package is ready for submission. They will submit the completed package to our PLAR office, and then they will notify the students and the family of successful and unsuccessful challenge application packages. And finally, the school will record the mark on the Ontario student transcript for students who advanced to the evaluation step of the challenge. The next big question is, what does the application actually look like? So the application package includes first the application form that will require the following items. It will include your Ontario student transcript, any prerequisite, either completed or in progress, an IEP if applicable, and all required signatures on the form, whether it is digital or type signatures are accepted. The application package also includes a knowledge and skills profile part, which has many parts to it, including 2 references, evidence of relevant learning related to the overall curriculum expectations of the course, And this could include a portfolio of relevant work that demonstrates achievement of course curriculum expectations, proof of successful relevant experience, or independent learning. Perhaps it's a video, audio, or writing samples of relevant work. This package might also include samples of work with a connection to overall curriculum expectations explained, and finally, a student paragraph of approximately 100 to 200 words. Now let's take a look at a sample of the application process or package so that I can detail some of the components a little bit more. So on the screen right now is the PLAR application form. This requires your demographic information, signatures, and the course you'd like to challenge. There is also a checklist to help you keep track of everything that's required and for the school to double check that everything has been submitted in the package. The reference sheet in the package has hyperlinks that will lead you to the actual reference form. You can share this link or download the PDF and share the file with the people who will be providing you with the reference. It's important to note that parents or guardians cannot be a reference. And once you click one of the links, you will see the actual form, and your referee will fill this out. They need to know the course you are challenging, and they will need to review the curriculum expectations for this course with you. Your referee should be familiar with the work that you've done to challenge the course. For example, a coach may speak to your activities or work around challenging a phys ed course, or perhaps a dance instructor can speak to your activities or work around challenging a dance credit. If there's not enough room, the referee can add a second sheet, and once the reference form has been completed, the referee must lock it in by pressing the green button, and they should email it to you so that you can include it in your package. And you would do this by either adding it to your PLAR Google Drive folder and sharing it, or adding the PDF to your application file. For the evidence of relevant learning, you would list the programs, courses, or experiences you're submitting as evidence. This could include drama and acting classes you took privately with an instructor, for an example. You would also describe the knowledge and skills that you gained during these experiences. Samples of student work is another section in the package. All samples of work need to be digital and saved to your TDSB Google Drive. I would suggest creating a folder in your Google Drive called PLAR, P-L-A-R, to keep track of all of your PLAR related documents. You will share the link in the application, and you'll set that sharing permission to TDSB. Anyone in this group with the link can view. For each link or sample, you'll let us know what type of evidence it is. For example, perhaps you share a photo or a painting that you've created. You will also list all of the overall expectations that this evidence satisfies, not the specific expectations. You will get this information from the Ministry of Education curriculum documents, and you will also describe how each sample demonstrates knowledge or skills. You should have enough samples to demonstrate that all overall curriculum expectations have been covered. If it were me, I would use a check system, and so perhaps you can use a check system to ensure that you've covered each overall curriculum expectation with your samples, and if you're missing any samples, seek out additional samples to address the missed expectations. The final page of the application is the student paragraph. In 100 to 200 words, you will share why you want to challenge your particular course. Outline the educational goals you have, the special interests regarding the course, and skills related to the course you have developed or displayed. This is the Ministry of Education curriculum and resource websites that you should be very familiar with the curriculum of any course you are challenging, and you will find the curriculum here for additional resources. Oops, sorry. You can visit the TDSB PLAR website, the Ministry of Education website, and of course the curriculum website. So here's a sample that we've included as an example. If you were to look at the expectations for grade 10 music credit, you will see the curriculum expectations. What the overall expectation
Carlo, can you please put up the PowerPoint as Snez is trying to log on as her computer stopped?
Lisa, are you able to see the slides?
Thank you.
Okay,
If
so
you
just try to remember
continue.
where we were. Just try to remember where we were. Wait a sec.
Keep going. We were
Right about
one more. Another one?
another one. Here.
Another one?
One more. Okay.
Sorry, I know where, keep going. I'll tell you when to stop.
Right here.
Next one.
Oh yeah, music, you're right. And then one more. Here we are.
Thank you. So, Snez, please let me know when you are back. So creating and performing overall expectations, and by the end of the course, students will, one, the creative process, apply the stages of the creative process when performing notated and improvised music and composing or arranging music. You will do expectation A2, the elements of music, applying elements of music when performing notated and improvised music and composing and arranging music. And A3, the techniques and technologies, use a variety of techniques and technology tools when performing music and composing and arranging music. And please note that when they say variety, they're not just looking for two. So please make sure you've read the curriculum document for that. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
So there's in B, reflecting, responding, and analyzing. There are overall expectations for that as well. So B1, the critical analysis process. So use the critical analysis process when responding to, analyzing, reflecting on, and interpreting music. B2, music and society. Demonstrate an understanding of how traditional, commercial, and art music reflect the society in which they were created and how they have affected communities and cultures. B3, skills and personal growth. Demonstrate an understanding of how performing, creating, and critically analyzing music has affected their skills and personal development. And finally, B4, connections beyond the classroom. Identify and describe various opportunities for continued engagement in music. And I'm going to turn it back to Snez.
You have to make her a co-host, Lisa.
Sorry.
You have
Thank
to
you.
turn her into a co-host again, sorry.
Okay, next slide, Carlo.
Okay. I'll
Snez,
just run the slides, okay, Snaz? You just tell me when you want me to change them.
is she back though?
I
Oh,
see
here we
her
go.
in there as
Sorry, I
co-host.
was trying to unmute. It wasn't allowing me to.
Okay.
Okay, and the last overall expectation are the foundations. So making sure that theory and terminology are included and demonstrated, that the characteristics and development are explained and covered, and that lastly, the conventions and responsible practices, such as demonstrating an understanding of responsible practices and performance connections related to music. And we're just using music as the example, but what we would like for students to do is to find the expectations in the ministry documentation so that they are covering everything that is required in order for them to challenge the course. And finally, the Ministry of Education curriculum and resource website that you should be very familiar with the curriculum of any course that you are challenging, that you will find curriculum here for additional resources, and you can visit the TDSB's PLAR website, the Ministry of Education website, and of course, the curriculum website. So we'll just go over the key dates. January 15th is when the applications will be available online. You will find the application on the TDSB Prior Learning Assessment Recognition website. You can also speak with your guidance counselor if you need any assistance. February 27th at 4 p.m. is when all of your documentation and application must be submitted to the school guidance office. Once your application is submitted, there is no other opportunity to add or include any additional information. So it is critical to make sure that you have covered and included everything that is required. On March 26th, your principal or school designate will notify you of your application, whether it was successful or unsuccessful. And then in proceeding to step 2, the PLAR assessment. Unsuccessful applicants may file an appeal within 5 days. And when you appeal this challenge, you cannot add any additional work. Successful applicants will move on to step 2 of the process. So on April 2nd, 2025, this is the final date for successful students to confirm in writing that they are committed to undertake the challenge process. The final date for unsuccessful students to file an appeal with their learning network superintendent. So step 2 of the PLAR challenge process will be from April 7th to April 11th. The PLAR assessors will contact students to schedule assessments. And from April 14th to May 14th, students will complete the PLAR assessment. May 3rd is the last day for students to withdraw from the challenge without a mark appearing on their transcript, which is the full disclosure date that we spoke about earlier. And then on May 28th, this is the date where students will receive their final mark. We want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. You will be dismissed from the breakout session. If there's any questions that are subject-based, they will be addressed during the breakout session. Our next slide will have the different subject areas that you can join. And when you see your subject breakout room, please feel free to join that room.